Hello, this is Jeff. This is my channel, Psionic Astrology, and this is going to be the reading for New Moon in Scorpio tonight. This is a collective reading. This is for everyone. Everyone has Scorpio on their chart. Not everybody may be affected as much, but some people may be. So take what you can take out of it, and if not, leave it. This is a collective global reading, though. If you want an individual reading, you need to find out your rising sign, which you can go to a lot of free websites and type in your place of birth, time, and date, and you can get your rising sign, which is the ecliptic sign that falls on the first house of the wheel, and you can calculate where these alignments are happening for you. Having said that, let's move on. First, I'll do a little bit of a recap of what's happened and what we're getting ready to move into as we're moving into 2020. Starting with the first house over here, the house of Aries, we have Chiron. Chiron's our healer. It's in the house of self. Aries, the first sign, new beginnings. Are we healing in these? We use this sign to heal right now ourselves. A new beginning can be a healing process for us, or what we need to heal. We have Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This is the planet of revolution and abrupt changes, in a sign of self-value, resources, beauty, and pleasure. We have nothing in the sign of Gemini. We have the North Node here in Cancer. And I've drawn this little escrow here, kind of like this vortex, to represent the universe kind of giving Cancer, the Cancerian energy, which we all have, this new and fresh energy. It's reviving it, it's washing it, not really washing it, but giving it more nutrients. It's building it up. And because the North Node is in Cancer, like I've been saying in a lot of my previous videos, that means that this year, this past, the 18 months that the nodes stay in one sign, that the planet that rules that sign is very significant. So the sign that rules, or the planet that rules the sign of Cancer, is the moon. So during this 18-month cycle, the moon's lunations, the moon's aspects, positive or negative, are kind of heightened, and we want to take a look more so at the moon, at the effects that are happening on the moon. And that's why I've been saying that this Libra lunation was going to be very important. Not only did we have two double full moons in Libra, but it also squares this node. Moving on, we have nothing in Leo. We have nothing in Virgo. We have Mars in Libra. Libra is Mars's but detriment position. It wants to be in Aries. Wants to be the race car going. It's the headstrong, the leader, physical prowess, the fighter, the warrior. And here in Libra, it's more about diplomacy and harmony and balancing things out and indecisiveness. So Mars don't really like being in Libra. We have here the center piece of my reading, and that would be the sign of Scorpio. We have the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and Mercury here. All the personal planets. The Sun and the Moon, the new cycle here. This is the new moon in Scorpio. This is the positive and negative, or the feminine and the masculine energies getting a reset, an opportunity to transform, Scorpio, and for personal power and like huge revelations and big jumps in one's life, in self-value, in building something of stability in one's life. And also with it trining this north node, coming transforming or rebirthing a personal emotional stability, feeling good again. uh, this is an opportunity to work towards that. It's been a pretty dark, negative year for a lot of people. We've had a lot of bad aspects. It reminds me of a song, one of my favorite songs by Vast. I can't remember it. I know every word of the song, but he's saying, what can I buy to make the skies blue again? Where can I go to feel alive again? Uh, it's been a lot of that. That's the opportunity that we have with this new moon in Scorpio, with it opposing this new value system and trining this need for emotional stability and letting go of things, of not looking outside of ourselves to find that what makes us feel good again, or other people, trying to looking towards other people or groups or places, things, to feel better about ourselves. Chiron and Aries, it's about rebuilding our, changing the story, changing our stories. We attract more of what we put out. We need to transform that story. We aren't our past. We are our past, but we don't have to carry it around like a baggage. A lot of us, even including me, hold on to these old patterns, Capricorn, Pluto, South Node, that no longer serve us. It's time to change our stories and create, transform, and bring new power and new life and have these revelations, so that we can start feeling good again. So that this North Node in Cancer can do its job, and that we can dispel all these old patterns that don't work no more, and rebuild ourselves, find our power again, make the sky blue again, feel alive again. So many of us have not felt very good lately, like going to the bars, it's just old, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. It's just insanity. And it's not getting us anywhere. That's what Uranus and Taurus here is trying to shake it up a little bit, stir it up, say, do something different, try something different, transform, change. And the North Node here in Cancer is saying, it's our thermometer, it's our gauge on whether or not we're accomplishing this. Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Are you sad? Are you jealous? Or these are all internal, physical, feelings, and it's getting a refresh. It's heightened right now. Like right now, we can really use how we feel to tell ourselves if we're moving in the right directions or not. And with this new moon, to set the intention to transform and have that power back in our lives again. Anyway, we've got Mercury and Venus here. And Mercury is getting ready to come to a stop and go retrograde here in Scorpio, giving us a real opportunity to heal. With Venus here, getting ready to close up this cycle in Scorpio and move toward more closer to Jupiter, things could start getting a little bit more positive for a brief little moment. Until we get around January, which I keep talking about, this is one of the most significant times of our lives. It's going to be, and I can promise that some people are just going to next year be like, what happened? Be in complete different jobs, complete different homes, complete different relationships, or alone, or have a complete different reality of how they see themselves. A new uh, conscious contact with God, or a releasing of old patterns that you've never been able to release before. 2020 is going to be an amazing year, or an absolutely horrible year for some people. But anyway, we have Mercury stopping and getting ready to go retrograde right on Halloween, and giving us an opportunity. It will be trining Neptune and Pisces and that North Node. It'll be sextiling this Pluto, which is technically conjunct Saturn now. We're going to start feeling the effects of this conjunction now. This transformation and these of on a global scale, on a collective level, government, work environment, law, any kind of structure or paradigm will be is in the process of being rebuilt and transformed. Things that a true draining of the swamp. This is not just government. That's an excellent theme for all humanity right now, is to drain your own personal swamps and the fake news you're telling yourself. Your own fake news, your own bullshit. Scorpio is going to expose that. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is going to expose that. Mercury in Scorpio is no bullshit. It's seeking the truth, like deep, darkest truth, and confronting it. With the new moon, you have an opportunity to confront it and shine a light on it, and transform that reality. Jupiter is in its own sign. It's been retrograde, and it is coming out of its shadow zone now. So the gifts of Jupiter in its own sign are going to start coming our way, especially as Venus moves towards it. The beneficiary energies will conjunct here later in the next couple months, and we're going to have a nice little positive streak here just for a brief moment until that South Node moves and conjuncts Jupiter, and then Jupiter moves over into Capricorn, expanding this, that draining the swamp effect, personally and globally, exposing things in the dark, exposing things, power plays, vengeance, overprotected kind of things will be exposed and needs to be released and come to a new, all that stuff we've just been talking about. But anyway, then we have another, this month, this cycle, we've got Scorpio highlighted, but the real actors, the big power hitters right now is Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. The South Node has just kind of pulled off of those two planets, but they're conjuncting now. They're both in direct motion. So they're catching their speed, and we're going to start seeing things manifest in these areas of our life around the world. And that's what we've been talking about all year. These are the big boys. This is the first step. This is the first stage of us moving into 2020, January 2020 area. And this is going to be a significant year for a lot of us, if not all of us, I think. I think it's just going to be one that we talk about 2020 and on. It's going to be crazy mode, total crazy mode. Why do I say that? Well, there's so much power in astrology right now. And what do I mean by that? It's like planets have places they function well, like a fish in water, as opposed to a fish out of water. It functions well in its own environment, right? Well, the planets kind of work that way as well. Um, and we have a lot of planets in powerful positions. We've got Jupiter in its home sign of Sagittarius, which only happens every 12 years. We've got Capricorn with Saturn there, its ruling planet. We've got Neptune with its ruling planet. We've got the North Node, uh, and with Cancer here, just coming out of the Leo cycle, which I think that's very significant because it deals with eclipses. The eclipses are the sun and moon. So these past couple of years, the nodes have been really potent. These past couple of years have been really potent. Eclipse seasons have been very, very potent. Um, when it moves next spring into Gemini, then we're going to more focus on Mercury's patterns and alignments, and we'll get a little bit longer periods of drama. I think it's going to be a crazy dramatic year, but the moon, the highlight on the moon goes through a sign every couple 2-3 days, so it's like that's really kind of what it's been like this year. That's kind of crazy roller coaster ride all over the place with relationships, spirituality, job, uh, world kind of issues, whether it be China, Venezuela, Iran, all over the world we're seeing crazy stuff. Israel, the fall of Europe, Brexit, um, all Saturn or Jupiter and Sagittarius squaring Neptune and Pisces, fake news, all the lies, the deception, the attack, one religion attacking another, the persecution of, all these minorities and stuff like that, and Pluto in Capricorn, draining the swamp, and the the build the wall kind of stuff, and angel moms, we gotta let Cancer energy and protecting our own, that clannish, uh, protecting my clan. I don't even know how to describe it. That's all the Cancer stuff. But that's, the themes that's been going on here lately, and these revelations that everyone's having, these in worth. Things are just getting out of hand right now, and things that shouldn't matter and matter. It's just crazy. The astrology is just crazy. There's so much power in it right now, and that's what we're going to get into. So let's start off with this new moon, and first off, this is an opportunity, like I've been saying, to transform, to find your own personal power. With Chiron just moving here in the Aries, on a collective level, on one-on-one, we have an opportunity to rebuild ourselves, to make ourselves stronger, to experience a new level of comfort and living, and to feel connection, and so we got some good stuff going on here. Elementally, let me figure that out here. Elementally, it's a loose trine, but elementally, we've got Neptune trining the North Node. We've got this new moon loosely trining this North Node. Both are sextiling the South Node, and this defragmenting energy. This forms a kite. These two are, and that's what we're talking about. That lift off. It's literally what a kite does. And the backbone of it is this node cannot be more powerful. This is just the greatest opportunity to this kite, to lift up, to ascend your personal life, your identity, change your diet, make it happen. With Scorpio here, it does not mess around. With this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio and Venus in Scorpio conjuncting, this update here is a reevaluation of our self worth. You're worth it. I'm worth it. I see so many people, and with this North Node in Cancer, is also a lot with nutrition and how you nourish your body. So many people are so miserable with their bodies and how they feel and their energy levels. You have an opportunity now to transform and purify. Your body will tell you. And any more than that's wrong. You almost have to be a damn rocket scientist to be healthy anymore. That's the God honest truth about the whole thing. But candy bars and sodas every day, cakes and muffins and shit tons of bread and uh, pasta and rice and carbs and blah blah blah. All that stuff is making me fat. Getting back to that primal, which Cancer is a very primal sign as well as uh, Capricorn. This dispelling those things and rebuilding is getting back to the roots. We're in the planets are in a very primal spot right now. They are enhancing, getting back to the core, very scorpionic, very uh, Cancerian, to the root, and letting go of all these bad behaviors and patterns. Capricorn, Saturn, transform that stuff. None of us are getting older. I mean, younger. We got to change now. You want to start eating better, eat more fresh food, less processed food. Uh, your body will tell you whether you're doing it right or not, how you feel. I should say that Cancer and Capricorn stuff. We have some rough relationship aspects, and that's why I've been talking about. We just tied up this last Libra lunation uh, here this weekend, and I've been talking about how this has been very important. Why is it important? Because Libra rules relationships, not just sexual relationships, which there is a highlight on that with the Sun moving here and all these personal planets moving here. And Scorpio, there's definitely a highlight, but we've got Mars here and there. When we say Mars is our drive, our motivation and stuff, is toward relationships and finding harmony and balance and stuff. But it's squaring, that north node or the south node with Pluto and Saturn here, causing like stop signs or um, putting up walls. There's kind of these blocks in work relationships. That also has to do with work relationships or law, or could be stuff like probation or getting in trouble, and it's also are you in relationships that don't feel good right now? Is squaring over here, so it's and that is, like we said, all to do with this stuff, that axis point. And then on top of that, it's all squaring over here to on a personal level. Are we taking it personal and beating ourselves up? It's square to that. I mean, it's destructions and patterns and paradigms that we've built on all of these levels. They're all kind of being challenged right now. So it kind of just feels like no matter what you do, like everything you do outside of yourself is not making you happy. That's why we have to reevaluate what is of value in our life right now. And then on top of that, with all this stuff on the collective and global level, we've seen an upkick in that draining the swamp thing. You know, we've got the we still very loosely have Jupiter elementally, and it came off a huge square off of Neptune. You know, and it's still there basically for the most part. We've got the fake news and all the crap and the lies and the you don't know what's going on anymore. You know, the persecution of whatever you are, whether you're gay or transgender or black or white or Mexicans with the wall and the Syrians and Kurds and Israeli and Iran and Chinese and North Korea and the Russians, and I mean that square there has just been a monster. That Jupiter and Pisces, and the Jupiter and Sagittarius squaring that Neptune and Pisces, that's been a nightmare on politics. And when Jupiter moves over into Capricorn, it's just going to blow it up. And then on top of that, I think it's going to chill out a little bit more when the South Node moves next spring, and the focus of that South Node will be in Sagittarius, where it's not so much in our face, but it'll be more up here in our perspectives. But I'm going to try. I feel like I'm starting to ramble. I could go on forever on this stuff. There's so much going on in astrology right now. I could go on and on and on and on, and I do. But this new moon in Scorpio, get ready for this Mercury retrograde. This opportunity to heal, transform, to find a truth, a personal inner truth. You know, listen to your own truth, transform, and find new value in your own power and your own self. But anyway, I'd love if you guys subscribed over to my on YouTube channel, Psionic Astrology. That's Psionic Astrology. I think my face is up on there. And if you hit the little bell there, if you're interested, you'll get little notifications. Otherwise, I do post all this stuff on Facebook. But I love you guys, and I'm going to get out of here. Peace.